Bully Me host Leroy, aka Marion Cobretti, with my co-host.
So you're the disease and I'm the cure? Or no? How does that go?
AKA the disease. You're like, okay, I'm the disease, you're the cure, or you're the disease and I'm the cure. I can't remember which
one. Or vice versa. I don't know.
What we're the disease and the cure. How about that?
All right, there you go. All right, I am Eli.
We're Big Pharma.
Yeah, I'm Eli, aka Dr. Squatch.
There you go. The soap.
I've been outside shoveling in this stuff.
I would say not sponsored by Dr. Squatch, but if you want to,
yeah, no shit, yeah. I'll buy a bar.
And the reason I did that because for those who didn't get the reference, right before I started recording, we started doing this podcast. I was watching Cobra on HBO Max.
Great flick.
Great flick. I was watching. I was like, why don't they make movies like that? I gotta ask something about this, Eli. Why is it every 80s action hero never had a holster? Why did they just put the gun just right in the pants?
I don't know, man. Because so you can see that awesome snake cobra logo on his fucking gun handle. That's
but it's a gun in his pants. Just put it in there. I don't know.
It's symbolism, man.
I know, phallic symbol. I get it. You watch the 80s, yeah, but just like
shooting from the hip.
It's like maybe they shouldn't do that, but it's the 80s. A lot of weird shit happened back then. I'll be honest with you. We don't have a whole lot of show this week, so we're gonna do a speed run. We're gonna run through this thing as fast as possible so I can get back to watch Cobra. But until then, we do have some stuff that we can watch on there. So I do want to start off with a classic. We're gonna bring back the classic, Eli. Okay. So give it to me. What is the number one movie of the week?
Oh shit, I don't know. Ant-Man again? I really don't know. I didn't even pay attention. Was it Cocaine Bear? I don't know. What came out this week?
Okay, you're 0 for 2. Yeah. All right, so the number one movie of the week was Creed.
Oh, Creed came out. Okay.
That came out this week. Yes, so that was the number one movie of the week. So we do want to give credit for Jonathan Majors because not only does he have the number one movie of the week, he also has the number two movie of the week. Now, I don't know when that has happened. It's only like a few actors that have ever done that. I think, Tom Holland did it, but who else had like two number one movies in a year? I think maybe the last time, I think the record is Jim Carrey. Oh. He did have like 3 in a year.
I was saying Sam Jackson gotta have done that at some point,
but not number one. He started like one big blockbuster movie and a bunch of indie movies nobody ever heard of. But it's for like one year. Stan Lee did it. Yeah. Speaking of Jonathan Majors, I just want to say one thing about Jonathan Majors. I do want to show this picture right here, and I do want to let people know on my timeline, stop tagging me in this because I don't know what this is. I know, Eli, we're supposed to be the nerd experts on everything, all nerdy shit like that, but we're not the anime bullies.
We're old nerds.
We're old nerds. So we do know anime before 1995. That is our cutoff date. Anything after that, don't tag us and shit like that. So when you post shit like that, who is this? I don't know who that is. Don't text me in that. So yeah.
I sure don't.
So if I don't know it, Eli don't know it, we don't know it. We're not.
We were making Cobra jokes at the beginning of the show.
Exactly. That should tell you something right there. We made a Cobra joke.
If you understood our Cobra reference, then you probably don't know who that was either.
Exactly. Exactly. Moving right along. Let's get to the podcast. Like I said, we don't have a lot, so instead of talking about some funny fictional shit, we're going to talk about some actual real shit that kind of really happened. Stand-up comedy that happened this week. So we're just going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Chris Rock's Selective Outrage. That's the thing we're going to talk about. We want to talk about that because it was on Netflix. It's probably going to be the biggest stand-up of the year. I didn't say best. I didn't say funniest. I said biggest, the one that everybody's talking about, the one that has Twitter afoot. I do want to say this, Eli, that my Twitter account was actually deactivated. So I turned it on just for this.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, because I don't watch Twitter. I don't watch Netflix. There's nothing on it for me. All y'all love these Wednesday shows and Outer Banks. I don't watch all this shit, man. I don't care. I rarely watch TV. So if something's on, I watch it. So
you know what I watched? What I finished watching like this week?
Mm-hmm.
Superstore. I might have told you that. I recently started watching. It kind of just started showing because I got Peacock and it just automatically started playing.
I'll be honest with you. Peacock is killing Netflix, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I was watching Superstore for the past couple months. That was a great fucking show.
So Superstore is actually good.
Yeah, I watched all 6 seasons. I was like, damn, this is
six. Shit.
Okay. Yeah, it's 6 seasons because it was funny and it kept, I like it took me a couple months to get through them all, but I was into it. And the finale was great. The finale, they actually nailed the finale.
So they actually had like a finale on
a series finale and they went out with a bang. And I was like, but I will say this. Oh, I shouldn't spoil it. But they had a character named Elias. And that's my, Eli, short for Elias. Every time there's a character in a movie or a show or anything named Eli, they're always like a creepy, weirdo, fucking, evil priest or some weird monk that doesn't get laid or some shit. Or and there's a character named Elias in the show that was a weirdo. And I was like, damn it, again.
It could have been worse, Eli. Your name could be Ralph. So there's never been an awesome Ralph in anything. Ralph has just always been just a creepy motherfucker in any movie it is. Like you never
Ralphie from Christmas Story, but that was Ralphie.
That was Ralphie. Yeah, he did.
That was cute.
Yeah. Like the hardest name, like Marion. You never heard of hard Marion until Cobra. Marion Cobretti. That's
should we just talk about Cobra?
Let's just talk about Cobra. Let's
just do a Cobra commentary.
Right. Anyway, let's go back to what we were talking about. Okay. So we were talking about Netflix. The thing is, now I didn't know that they had another tier of Netflix. So they lowered the price. So this is how much I paid for Netflix this month. $7. I paid $7 for it. I do get commercials. So that thing has already got into effect right there. But here's what I do, and here's what I recommend what all people start doing. There's too many streaming services out there. Maybe you can afford them. Maybe you just blowing money for no reason. If you don't watch all of them, don't pay for them. Here's what I do. If it's a streaming service I'm not paying for, like Paramount Plus, like Netflix, or some other crazy shit out there like Showtime or some shit like that, I'll watch it for that one thing I want to watch. And immediately when I pay for it, I cut off the service. So as I did with Netflix. As soon as I paid for that $7, I cut off the service. It's done. That's it. So guess what happens? In the month, when it's over, Netflix will just go away. It won't charge me again for some shit I'm not watching. I forget I'm watching. It just goes away. And when I want to watch something again, I pay for it again. That's your life hack. That's your TED Talk. Okay. That's why we have a podcast. So we can say shit like that, But anyway, I'm back on Netflix for the next 30 days. And I may watch some other crazy shit on there. I might watch Day Shift again or something like that. It was something I wanted to watch on that too. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I'll watch it again for right now. So we have that. We're going to talk about the Chris Rock thing. It's been a year since the slap happened, Slapgate. We all forgot about it. We didn't think about it. It was like, whatever. And Chris Rock is here to remind us again about it. You know what? I'm not mad at him for doing that because, like I said, because he's getting paid for it. That's the thing. We don't know how much Netflix paid for him, but we imagine it's like an insane amount of money because they did a live show. Like it was live when it happened. And I don't know. I didn't even know Netflix did live shows. So he got paid for it. He did a bunch of shows. And I did like that the name of the show was Selective Outrage. Because honestly, Eli, it was a thing that you have been talking about for like the last couple of years on here. Where you talk about people selective when they get mad at it and what they don't get mad about. Because the internet tells them to get mad about it. We just follow the trend. We just follow the leader. So yeah. And he touched on that. He did go on that. He said some other things on that. I guess people were thinking he was just talking about the Will Smith and Jada thing for like an hour and 30 minutes and just go on about that, but really he didn't. It was like the last 10 minutes or some shit like that. And the rest of it was he just doing his regular stand-up bit, Shout out to my boy in Seattle. He said it was the exact same set he did in Seattle. He just did it for live TV this time.
Oh, so, you got homies in Seattle?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cool. So I got people everywhere. But yeah, so that's the thing. So like I said, I like that a lot of people because they just like to hate things like, oh, he ain't funny. He's never been funny. He ain't this. He ain't that. I was like, I was laughing. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Up until this point.
I laughed.
Yeah. Honestly, I almost would have been fine if he would have left out the Will and Jada shit. Yeah. Like he just kept everything going, just left it out. Or even if he did bring it up, just be like, you know what? That was a year ago. I'm over it. They're over it. Move on. That's not what happened. That is not what happened at all. He went in a direction I did not think he was going to go, but he went there anyway. And at first I'm thinking, okay, yeah, it's a year later. He knows he's going to get the people he's paid for. He's going to put a performance and he's going to bash Jada and bash Will like that. And it's just, but he's going to be funny about it. But the thing was, the more he started talking, it didn't feel like he was joking. It felt like it was a rant. He was messing up jokes. His voice was getting angrier. He was getting more emotional. I was like, oh, damn. He's really still mad about this shit.
Yeah.
Like, legit. This ain't a joke or comedy. He's mad, and I was like, damn, okay. But you know what? I can't really get mad about that. Because I'll be honest with you, Eli. I got punched in the face in the 3rd grade. I still remember that guy. I still remember that guy.
Dude,
I still think about
every
it.
time I see these scars of that motherfucker on my porch,
I
get so
exactly. So
and I threw him down the stairs.
Exactly, and you won that fight. Now, to be honest with you, when I got punched in the face, I put like that. We tied. It was a tie. When he punched me in the face, we kind of like stopped fighting. I got some good shots. It's like, but at the same time, I still
got
think
jumped
about
when
it.
I was out when I was a kid too, man. Back in New York, I was a little kid in the 80s in New York City. So yeah, I got my ass whooped a few times, and yeah, I got some issues.
And that's the thing. I can't get mad because, like I said, oh yeah, we're like with Chris Rock. That was a year ago. By the end of the week, we had forgot about it. We was on some other shit. We had forgot about it, moved on. But yeah, he's still hanging on to it. But at the same time, like I said, you got in your fights. I've been in fights before. I've got punched in the face. I still remember it. I still was waiting for this guy to like show up at a high school reunion or some shit. I tried to follow his sister on social media, and it crossed my mind for saying like maybe what? Nah, I'm not gonna go that route.
Man, what am I trying to do?
Exactly. Like, so she just need to let go, but you do think about that shit after a while. So
he can still kick my ass, but I'm a fucking sister.
Hey, that's revenge. That's revenge.
And break her heart, make her fall in love, right. And then break her.
Never
heart.
Call again. Ghost her and said revenge, motherfucker. So that's what it crossed my mind. But then I had to catch myself for a second. But then I had to think about it. Okay, so if we're thinking about that, 3rd grade last year, pandemic, whatever happened, but it happened to him in front of billions of people. That is still online. It can be recorded. People can watch anytime. Everybody got their opinion. Everybody talking about it. Mentally, that would fuck you up. I'm just saying it would. Yeah. So we can't get mad at him. I mean, yeah, we forgot about it, but he's still hanging on to it. But yeah, he still have some deep-seated, issues and anger over that issue,
Yeah. And how far do we want to go? I'll just say this brief. I'll try to keep this brief.
Okay.
You all know how I feel about Will Smith. We ban Will Smith on the we ban Will Smith on the show because I'm not a fan. But he's going through some shit too.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever happened, I don't pay attention to the entanglements. I barely know about any of that shit. I don't watch his wife's show. I thought his wife's band sucked. I think his daughter's band sucks too. But okay, I digress.
You just hate the whole family. Okay.
I'm about to let it loose. Okay, I'm not gonna fucking rant on Will Smith or any of his family. But Will Smith has got some issues. He's probably hurting too. And I think what we saw at the Oscars was him.
What my grandma used to say, the camel that broke the hump that broke the camel's back.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah,
it was him lashing out in not the best way, dealing with his issues and not the most conductive manner. So yeah, I mean, I might not be a fan of Will Smith, but people want to say, hey, men, we have issues and we have, we got to deal with them. We need to fucking work through them, and or shit like this is gonna happen. And
right.
I generally hope Will Smith gets his shit together.
Right. But this I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
You're saying that Will Smith going through issues, and his issues led to this.
Mm-hmm.
However, Chris Rock's response to this could be escalating that issue instead of him just saying it was a year ago, just let it go. And that's it. Instead, now he didn't call both Will and Jada, both bitches, like several times on the show, call them all kind of names, put all the business down the street. I mean, nothing that they didn't put out themselves,
Well, what we saw was Chris Rock finally letting,
getting his lick back.
Getting his working through his shit. And I think that's the thing about comedians. Yeah. A lot of comedians deal with their shit on stage.
Right.
And
the stage Rock, is their therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Rock is one of those comedians that just like, lets it all out. I don't know if you ever seen Bill Burr talk about his dad. That's just not funny. But you can tell where all his rage and that he's turned into humor comes from. You
Right.
know, so yeah, I mean, Chris Rock's got some issues too, and especially over the shit he went through, and he was working through it last night. You know, so yeah, I mean, if people want to get mad at Will or Chris for who did what and why, and they were wrong, and it's his fault or their fault, blah blah blah, or Jada's fault, blah 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 blah. In the end, if we're supposed to be woke and progressive, and men dealing with their mental shit, this is what it is.
That's what I'm saying. I know everybody's laughing, everybody having a good time like that. I'm seeing two men dealing with mental issues. One man putting his mental issues on this guy, giving him mental issues
in the public eye.
Right?
Yeah, and I couldn't even imagine that shit. That post that went viral last summer, I threw my shit on private because I don't want motherfuckers, racist motherfuckers DMing me and shit.
Right.
So I can imagine the shit, going through going through the shit in the public eye, man.
So I mean, like I said, it's a whole different level, So I don't know. It's just weird. That's why, honestly, Eli, that's why I'm glad we're low level. People check in, check on us like that. Most of the people that check on us, they are homies. We're good. We don't have millions of people just saying whatever about this. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a level that we can deal with. We're good with.
Yeah.
And so, but that's all I got to say. Like I said, Chris Rock overall show I thought was funny. Humor is subjective. If you don't like it, that's fine. Yeah. You don't have to argue back and forth. Well, that shit wasn't funny. You should like it. What? Why should you get mad what I like and don't like?
Yeah.
We need to really get over that. That we really have a problem with that online.
All art
in general, entertainment, whatever
is meant to help us deal with this shitty world we live in.
Right.
That's what it's for. It's to entertain us. It's to help us get through harsh times. It's to help us think about and confront things that may be difficult and have us laugh at it or get scared of it in a safe way, and then basically cope with it. That's what art and comedy's for. So I'm a big proponent of if do what they want as long as it ain't hurting anybody, and if you don't like it, you ain't got to watch it, listen to it, read it,
right? And don't get mad or belittle other people that like it. It's they like this, they like Chris Rock didn't have to be your favorite comedian, but I do have to say something though. Sometimes somebody brought up a point to me. Okay, with all the jokes that Chris Rock makes, stuff like that, they're saying that Chris Rock tailored his jokes to a certain audience, and I had to think about that. Okay, yeah, he's saying all this crazy shit about black people and this stuff like that. He's been saying crazy shit about black people for decades. That's kind of his brand. But what would I think about it if I was hearing those jokes and I wasn't black? What would I think about it? And that's what I think about for saying, I'm like, those jokes are kind of fucked up. They are making us look in a bad light and making us all look like, exactly what, negative stereotypes of us is. And he's kind of promoting those stereotypes to a point.
I remember, what was that documentary he made about the hair?
Good hair. I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember he was on, was it The View or somebody? He was on a talk show. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was Whoopi or somebody, a black woman asked him, so like, well, thank you, Chris, for telling everybody our business. So yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. But
I've heard people say that he tap dances on TV, on stage.
And there was a rap album I heard like back in the 90s who like basically started beef with them and shit.
With who? Chris Rock?
With Chris Rock.
Oh, wow. Well, because he made CB4,
Yeah. No, this was like a rapper. No, it wasn't about CB4. No, it was something he said in his comedy. And a rapper just started laying into him. And I was like, oh, shit.
So, because I do find it, I do find it interesting that when the slap happened, we felt more worse about Will Smith than we did about Chris Rock.
Yeah.
So because people have already saying that he's always talking shit, he's always doing that, and it's like eventually somebody's gonna slap the shit out of him. Matter of fact, that was even a joke in the 2000s where the Wayans made a joke that he went too far and somebody slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah, and I thought it was funny. And I'm not condoning, and that's the thing, is I'm not condoning jumping on stage and slapping comedians. I'm not. I don't.
Right.
I'm from the metal scene and the punk rock scene, the hardcore scene, where motherfuckers jump on stage and sing along and stage dive and shit.
And a lot of people don't know that a guy jumped on stage with Dave Chappelle about a few months ago and got his arm broken. You can't recognize that guy when they show a picture of him. Yeah.
But that's like in our scene, like you can do that shit, but don't fuck with the band, don't fuck with the performance. So I'm not condoning like getting up on stage and slapping comedians just because you don't like what they're saying. The reason why I laughed is because the Oscars is such a circus,
right? And
that was just another part of the act that I thought, this big extravagant, bullshit fucking show, and that shit happens. I thought, oh, that's great, that's why I laughed at it. I wasn't like condoning, slapping comedians, But I just wish Will Smith would have owned it. Like, I slapped him because he's talking shit, instead of what he did, But I'm not gonna go back to that. But I think Chris Rock has always sort of been one of them guys that's been honest and vulnerable, with this comedy. And I think that part of that is talking about the culture, whether it be the Black culture or whatever. But he kind of brings things to light that a perspective that not everybody gets to see.
But what perspective? That's the only thing, because now when I do look at it, he always are bringing it. It is something from a certain perspective, but it's always us in a negative perspective. Like it always seems like that. And I know it's for comedy, it's for jokes, stuff like that. But like I said, the majority of his audience, like I said, my guys in Seattle went to his show. You didn't see a lot of this at his show in the audience. Okay, that's what I'm saying with his joke. So
that is something to think about.
So I don't know.
As a non-Black person, I think he's funny and I'm a fan and I've even read one of his books. But I guess I don't know. I don't see that as a negative thing. I think he's just being honest and but I can see I guess I get what you're saying. Hearing your perspective, I can see that being a net, if that's that, So it's just interesting,
Hey, some people are still mad at him last year not last year, but whenever he did his last special, and he made that joke about Mississippi, just drag Mississippi under the bus. And a lot of people down here are offended. I'm just like, why are you defending Mississippi? I live here. Don't defend Mississippi. They just passed the fucking Jim Crow law last week. We can't even vote for our own mayor and the legislators in Jackson right now because of the law they passed. So it's like 1956 down here again. But that's neither here nor there. It's another thing. But that's my only thing about that. I laughed at it, but I had to look at it through a different lens other than myself, and I was like, I could see why people could see he is shucking and jiving on TV, on stage like that. So
no, I know that's something I never thought about.
But like I said, I laughed. That's all it is. I laughed at it. I'm not gonna
what
say
he said about White Planet of the Apes. Holy shit!
Right.
Or Elon Musk. What the fuck?
What did he say about every time he
negative
makes a Tesla,
cum or some shit?
Yeah, he's like every time he makes a Tesla, he gets his dick sucked. That was funny to me. I would laugh my ass off.
Negative cum. I'm like, damn, that's a phrase I never heard.
He was like, there's only one person has less cum than him, and it's Jason Momoa. That's it. I thought it was funny. That's me. Like people didn't laugh at it, set their stone face. Let's have more fun with your life. I don't know. But that being said, Eli, there were two specials that came out this week that was talking about the whole Slapgate stuff like that. And shout out to Gabe. Gabe put me on to this because I watched this special like an hour before we stopped this. And this was I can't show you. Here we go. I can't remember the name of the show. Marlon Wayans, God Loves Me. It's on HBO. It actually came out the day before the Chris Rock special.
Okay.
Now, this special where Chris Rock talked about 10 minutes about the slap, this is an hour about the slap. It's all about that, just about the Will and Jada shit.
Is it
but
funny?
It's from that's the entire set is just that, But it's hilarious because Marlon is telling from his perspective because, like I said, he's friends with Will, friends with Chris Rock, friends with Jada, like that. So he knows them. So he's going like an extra perspective on what he was saying. And it's hilarious. And yes, it's like funny. Like I was busting a gut laughing at that. So between the two, it's funny. And not only that, he's doing a better Chris Rock impression telling jokes than Chris Rock did in his special. So like I
the
said,
Wayans, man, they need to do more what Damon Wayans stand-up shit was fucking hilarious.
Damon is hilarious.
Yeah.
Damon is a genius. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when he was doing his stuff in the 90s.
He was ragging on like the metal scene and moshing and shit, but I was laughing my
Yeah, like Damon is a legit comedic genius.
Yeah.
Like he's on that level with these guys. They don't put him there, but he deserves to be on that level.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about, In Living Color and all that shit was all good, but his stand-up was great.
I mean, but that's the thing, like he was saving In Living Color, like single-handedly. They had some funny people on there, but it was Damon Wayans was holding that show together. Yeah. When he left, the show fell apart. And so, but yeah, that's the thing. So Marlon was going in there. It's funny the way he was talking about Chris and Will's like that. It was hilarious. And the thing about it, like both of these comedians, like they didn't say anything about Will and Jada. We haven't heard other comedians say, because I've heard other comedians go way harder at them than this. Like
it's been a long year.
Yeah. Because I was like, maybe you shouldn't say that. Like you can get sued like that. But the thing is, but that's the whole point about Chris Rock saying the show is about selective outrage. Because everybody has been talking shit about Will. But he decides to beat up the smallest guy in the room. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, everybody else is talking shit about. He didn't say anything about that. Meanwhile, on Emancipation, he's saying that people were spitting on him doing the set. Why don't you beat one of them up? You know,
he's in character, man.
Right, he's in character, so you got to take it. You know, I mean, when the movie wraps, you know.
I mean, yeah, I mean, after when they say cut, you know,
right. Like say that then. But yeah, that's all I gotta say on that. Like I said, we're not gonna spend too much on this because we're not. I do want to say one more thing about just general comedy specials in general. Remember when it used to be special, Eli? Now there's like so many of them just flooding everything.
Def
be special like
Jam and
Def Comedy Jam. Yeah. We used to sit. Well, I was too young to watch Def Comedy Jam.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Damn, how old were you?
I can't remember what was it, like 92 or something.
Yeah, that's the year I graduated high school. See, I'm old, man.
I couldn't watch it. I had to sneak down and watch it, you know. So I only watched like a few episodes. And when the parents come down, like put the music down, real low, have what's that recall button, previous channel, hit it just in case for the parents. So that's what I had to do there. So but like take Eddie Murphy for instance. When Eddie Murphy dropped a special, it was an event.
Yeah,
Eddie Murphy's specials were in the theater.
Spike Lee. No, not Spike Lee.
I was going to say Spike Lee.
Robert Townsend directed Raw.
Delirious. Raw. He
directed Raw.
Yeah. So and they were like some of the highest grossing, like the top 10 movies of the year. His comedy specials. Yeah.
We were all like in 9th grade quoting all that shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. You go there. That's the thing, because before the internet, before they had memes, stuff like that. They would just watch it and that was it, you know.
I still say that shit.
Like I said, it was a classic. Yeah. So yes, is this new Chris Rock special? Is it a classic? Nah, it's not a classic, but it was funny. Yeah. You know, I've seen some.
There was some lulls. Yeah. There was some lulls in it.
And I do think some jokes missed, like just flat out missed. Like he told some, and I was like, I don't know about that one, man. Yeah. But
I mean, and that's the thing is like sometimes jokes just stop being funny.
Yeah.
You know. They become dated. I mean, when's the last time you laughed at? Have you ever laughed at? Oh, that's gonna leave a mark. You know?
No.
Yeah. You know. So, but when I hear that shit in a movie, I'm like, oh shit, really?
Yeah, because you tell a joke too many times. But yeah. So that's all we got to say about that. So we can move past that. Like I said, we're not the stand-up comedians bullies. That's
women be shopping. Yeah.
Black people do this, white people do that. No, we gonna do that. All right, so let's get into some comic book shit, man. Let's get into some comic book shit. Let's talk about Shazam 2, because we seem to be the only people that will be talking about Shazam 2.
And you're probably the only one who's seeing it.
I probably will be the only one to see it. I'm gonna stretch my feet out. I'm gonna bring like a futon with me, you know, because I know I'm just being a motherfucker by myself. Just like, you know, but the thing is, the reason I'm gonna talk about Shazam 2, because like I said, the movie does drop in a few weeks, stuff like that, and the director came out because, like I said, we don't know whether it's gonna be a Shazam 3 or how it fits in the James Gunn's, you know, cinematic universe and things like that. But the way the director was talking, like he's like, well, we haven't really done anything to contradict what they're doing, so we could show up. But he's basically saying that the point of a part 3 is kind of based on whether or not people see part 2. Well, I got bad news for you, buddy. This is projected to be like one of the lowest grossing DCU opening period, like out of all the movies. That's what they're saying. So people are saying like it'd be funny if it beats Black Adam. It's not. It's not gonna be Black Adam.
Yeah.
It's not gonna come anywhere close to Black Adam. Funny thing is, Shazam didn't even beat Black Adam, but Shazam was considered a hit. Well, Black Adam was considered a flop. So
I did enjoy Shazam for the most.
Shazam was fun.
It was cute.
It was fun. It was cute. I don't know why they're doing a part 2 and why they're doing a part 2 with Helen Mirren as the bad guy. That's what I don't get. But it kind of like just making a movie, just going through the motion, just cranking out a movie.
Yeah.
What was that X-Men movie that was right before they just said fucking wrapped up everything? Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Feels like that.
Yeah.
But it's like or New Mutants. It could be New Mutants also, but it's just throw some shit out there, just be done with it.
New Mutants is a pile of shit though.
It is a pile of shit, yeah. But they didn't care about a pile of shit. They just like just throw it out there, just be done with it. Who cares if anybody like it? But
should have released Batgirl, y'all.
They might have. I would have been more interested in a Batgirl in any shape or form than whatever Shazam.
I would go see Batgirl if it came.
No matter how bad. Honestly, because it would have been so bad, I would watch it. I was like, fuck it. It's just, at least it's entertaining. At least it's fun to watch. Like I can maybe be on some enhanced substances and watch it.
Yeah.
But as far as Shazam, honestly, the real reason I think, other than anything else, the main reason I think Shazam 2 will be the last movie of this franchise is not because it may be a bad movie, not because it doesn't fit the James Gunn's cinematic universe like that, but it's one reason. I think the kids are about to age out of the role.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw that kid from the first movie. That kid's
right.
25 now.
Right. So imagine him in the third movie. We're going to see him with his kids, shit like that. Hell, let me see. I'm trying to show you while we talking that shit. I'm trying to show you the picture of the Shazam family. Yeah, Mary Marvel in the back. Okay, she doesn't transform. That's her. Like, so when they say Shazam, yeah, she
the older sister or whatever.
The older sister, yeah. So because in the first movie there was an older actress. She transformed to an older actress. But so now that she's older, it's like, well, fuck, you just be you. So they fired her, and now they just got the girl that was playing Mary Marvel as Mary Marvel. So it's like, so if she's already playing her, eventually the other kid is going to be in that role also. And it's kind of like it makes the growing older pointless. And the thing is, Shazam as a franchise doesn't work if Billy Batson is in his 30s or whatever like that. Because the thing is, Alan Moore wrote a story like that, and you don't want that Alan Moore story anywhere near this franchise. Trust me. So, yeah. So that's what I got to say about Shazam 2. Like I said, it's gonna flop. I will report on it and tell you how bad it is on a scale from Morbius to Ant-Man, how bad it is,
Yeah, do the work.
Yeah, exactly. I do the review so you don't have to.
Taking one for the team.
Exactly. What do we got next? I feel like I skipped something. I did skip something, but don't worry, we're gonna circle back around. I do want to talk about Peter Pan. And everybody's hot, everybody's mad. Every YouTuber out there is in disgust right now and in rage and all like that. We know why. Let me see if I can find the reason why. That's the reason why. Yeah. Oh my God, Black Tinkerbell. Honestly, Eli, at this point, I don't have the energy to give a fuck one way or another about that. To get upset, to not get upset, to go to bat for it. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
Black Tinkerbell.
I don't give a shit about this at all.
Yeah. But at the same time, in the 90s.
Even though Tiger Lily's finally being played by a native actress.
That's what I was going to ask you about, because I wanted to gauge your opinion on Tiger Lily. How do we feel about Tiger Lily? So Tiger Lily gets a pass.
Sure, I guess.
Okay.
Cool. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm like, hey, all up to this native actress who's getting some work. I hope she gets more work and she has an awesome career. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this shit. I'm sick of like the fucking Disney handouts and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They just Okay. Can I get mad at the Black Tinkerbell for a second?
Go ahead.
Okay. Let me get mad about the Black Tinkerbell for a second. But I'm gonna do it in a different direction than what these other assholes doing. I'm gonna be my own asshole. I'm gonna pave my own way. Okay. So you got Black Tinkerbell. So you got the only black person in the movie, the only magic person in the movie with magical powers is black. And they don't even realize what they're doing right now. So they don't realize
electric powers though.
Probably. She probably will in this movie.
Is that electricity? Is that actually pixie dust?
They're gonna change it from pixie dust to electricity, exactly like that. Oh, I'm black now. I just got these powers, Like the reason I'm upset about that, because the only magical person in the movie has black powers. Do you realize, Hollywood, that you're reinforcing the magical Negro trope? Do you realize that? You don't even realize it. You're just doing it. Like, you want to make Wendy black? I don't give a fuck. Make Captain Hook black? I don't give a fuck. Make the crocodile black? I don't give a fuck. But why the magical person always got to be the only black person in these things? Look, the only... That's my thing, man. One of these days, I'm going to dig deep and really rant about the magical Negro trope, but I don't have enough time. Not even in this show, we're not talking about shit. Well, I got to save that for my own time right now. But
this shit wearing buckskin and riding a horse.
That is true. That is true. So I can't get too mad, you know.
like, oh, this shit again?
Yeah. That being said, can I say something good about this movie?
All right.
Okay, let me say something good about this movie. Like, nobody else want to talk good about Peter Pan and Wendy, but I'm talking good about Peter Pan and Wendy. Now, the thing I like about this is that it doesn't feel like a retread of the old movie. It does feel like an original-ish idea, even though they're using a trademark they already have, but it doesn't feel like it's a beat-by-beat recreation of shit they already had. It doesn't feel like they're paving their own way or making something imaginative creative. Because, like I said, Peter Pan, you can do different things. Peter Pan. People have done different things with Peter Pan. I do want to say something about Peter Pan. Peter Pan is like my...
Do you remember, how old are you? Do you remember when Sandy Duncan played Peter Pan on stage?
Woo! I remember, but like in reruns.
That was like the early 80s and shit. Sandy Duncan. People don't even know who that is. Who the fuck is Sandy Duncan?
I remember Sandy
Peter Pan. That's all I know.
Somebody said something fucked up one time about Sandy Duncan one time. I'm trying to remember what they said. They remember that the reason they remembered Peter Pan was a woman, but being played by a woman, because when Sandy Duncan like leaned over and they realized there was no bulge right there, like, that's a woman. I don't know who said that, but it was fucked up when he said.
Who the fuck is looking at Peter Pan's dick? Jesus Christ!
Somebody, it wasn't me, but somebody was looking at Peter Pan's dick and realized he didn't have a dick.
An actress,
it was like,
comedian, singer, dancer. Okay, she was on the whole sitcom The Hogan, and she played Peter Pan.
Yeah, she played Peter Pan. So Peter Pan was a woman. The wokeness, you know.
Yeah, this was like back in when I was a kid.
Exactly.
And you know what? We didn't give a fuck.
Exactly. Nobody. There was no.
I mean, when I got dragged, my dad always dragged me to go see Disney movies because he thought I'd like them and shit, you know. And I didn't like any of them, you know. But then he dragged me to Peter Pan, and then when the whole Tiger Lily and the white man or red man red or whatever that shitty ass fucking song, I remember just looking at him like, really, really,
this
Dad?
You brought me to
really.
Thanks, Dad.
You won't take me to see Star Wars again, but you're taking me to see this bullshit. I wanted to see the Dark Crystal, Dad.
now we got Eli triggered. Okay.
Yeah, fuck Peter Pan.
Peter Pan has triggered Eli. Okay.
I don't give a shit how many natives you put in this shit, how much fried bread you serve. Fuck Peter Pan.
Oh man, I'm trying to think one more thing that I'm gonna get pissed about. Oh, not that. We're gonna come back to that.
I could get pissed at that.
We're gonna pick that. Oh, Wendy is played by Mila Jovovich, her daughter. That's her daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. She's blowing up, getting bigger. You know.
Cool.
Anyway, I can't find it. Anyway, I want to talk
Pan?
about.
So Peter Pan ain't white?
No, Peter Pan's not white. Peter Pan is
okay.
I don't know what Peter Pan is. He's racially ambiguous. He's racially ambiguous. There you go. Peter Pan is everybody. He's the Rock. There we go. Oh yeah. One more thing I want to get upset about this movie is that the Lost Boys had lost girls in it now. I'm like, the reason I'm getting upset about that because that does kind of fuck with the story a little bit. Peter Pan was the first novel I ever read. So,
oh no shit.
And the first novel, not only the first novel I ever read,
you like it though?
I did. I broke it down. The Peter Pan was the first novel. Like, okay, Moby Dick was the first novel I ever read, but Peter Pan was the first novel I ever read, and I was like, oh,
multiple times or some shit,
like twice, you know, like that. But it was the first novel I read that I got it. Like I was like, oh, okay. Like
Moby Dick could be a hard. That's a hard read.
It's a hard read,
for a kid, yeah, especially for a kid.
For a kid. So I like read it just to say I read it, but I didn't really get what was going on. Like, okay, just a big whale, okay. But Peter Pan, I got it. It clicked with me because it was understanding what was going on with, like, you know, basically Peter Pan went through trauma and he was basically stuck in childhood mode and drug everybody, all his friends, into childhood mode with them.
Oh damn.
Yeah, that's where the Peter Pan syndrome come from, where you're just stuck in the rest of development. You know.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what the book.
Never thought of that shit.
Yeah. So it was some deep shit in the book, man. But like, I'm pretty sure Disney won't go that route. But yeah, that's the whole point. But the whole point with the Lost Boys is that when Wendy came with and Wendy, the name actually didn't exist before the book. Like the writer of Peter Pan actually made up the name Wendy. Yeah.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. It's the name didn't exist beforehand.
I thought it was like short for Winifred or some shit.
Maybe something like that, but the actual name Wendy, he made that up. Yeah.
Oh no.
So
shit. I didn't know that.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So the Lost Boys, they never. Well, I ain't gonna say they met a girl, but they never really hung around a girl before. So that's when Wendy came around. They just treated her like the mother, even though she's the same age as them. So they already have girls in the Lost Boys tribe. They didn't really make any sense. But hey, we got to be all inclusive. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Anybody
I
can be.
I didn't think about Peter Pan as a novel because I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I read that shit like that was like my book report in like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade because I read it so many times and shit. Mm-hmm. But I liked a lot of Roald Dahl stories. I love Fantastic Mr.
You know
Fox,
they're trying to cancel him, right?
I know. That's like I'm hearing about that shit now, and I'm like, I love that shit as a kid, you know. And I wasn't white. Yeah, James and the Giant Peach and shit. But yeah, I mean,
he wrote a James Bond movie.
Did he?
I can't remember which one. It's like one of those Sean Connery ones, but he wrote one of them.
Oh shit. No, yeah. I was way into Roald Dahl as a kid. But whatever.
Yeah, but now how you gonna cancel somebody like 30 years after they're already dead? Shit like that. I don't get that. But yeah. I don't know. That's the word.
I heard they want to like change his they want to like change the words in his book and shit. They don't want like fat and whatever names that he was using. I can see the Oompa Loompas being a little problematic now all these years later.
Yeah, but they really shouldn't change any of this stuff because we need to understand because all of our literature, all of our art, all of our entertainment is a sign of what times were back then. Like when you read that stuff, you're like Eli, you know me, I read all these like 60s and 70s comics and stuff like that. When I read them, I can get a sense of what those artists and writers were going through. Like in the 80s, all that environmental crisis stuff like that. When the 60s, when they had all that atomic fear and shit like that, and pretty much every super villain and hero had powers from the atomic, radiation shit like that. It's part of, it's part of our culture.
Yeah. And we can also watch, I mean, I'm sure you're watching Cobra. And you're like, damn, they can't do that shit now. You know,
I'm absolutely watching that. Like, that's what I'm watching. He just walked in and just shot a guy, just unloaded a clip on him, then told like a joke.
The beginning of the movie is a mass shooting at a supermarket.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if that would happen today, who would they be more mad at? The guy that did the mass shooting at the supermarket, or the cop that shot the guy? Yeah. They probably were mad at the guy that shot the guy. I'm just saying, we don't know.
Yeah, man. But that's the thing. It's like I can go back and watch. Like I watch a lot of 80s movies. Those are the shit that I grew up when I was a kid. I watch all these horror movies and 80s action movies like Cobra and Commando, and I can see the problematic things that are in there. I recognize them now today, and like, I can say, hell, they would not do that now. But I can still appreciate the entertainment value.
Right, because we don't need to, like, not to use a loose term, but to whitewash. I mean, like, to wash over. We don't need to whitewash our history.
Yeah,
like bad, just leave away. Like Mark Twain, Huckleberry Finn. He says the N-word like 260 times in that book. Like they count it.
And I like that story. I liked Huck Finn way more than Tom Sawyer. I felt bad for Huck Finn. Huck Finn, he was a fucked up kid. Exactly. I kind of felt bad for Huck Finn.
Right. And they need to leave that book alone. Don't touch it at all. Don't alter it. Don't do anything. Leave it the way it is. Yeah. And then when people have problematic or problems with it, we can have that conversation. Okay, we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do that. But if you just erase me like it never happened, you're going to end up repeating that shit down the road. Then some other asshole, not as good as Mark Twain, going to just make a book with the N-word in it 500 times just because.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure a millennial or whoever, the kids these days, will watch something like Weird Science, which I love, or Revenge of the Nerds, which I love, and be like, oh my God.
Oh, it's already happened. It's already happened. You want to know the movie that they're doing it with? Ferris Bueller.
Oh, that too.
Ferris Bueller. Let me break. I got to break down Ferris Bueller for you because I know you've seen it, but the point is, when we grew up in the 80s, Ferris Bueller was the coolest dude alive. He the whole world revolved around him. He had these girls, his friends did what he wanted. He did whatever he wanted, and we idolized Ferris Bueller. But however, these Gen Z, people right now watching.
I can imagine what they're saying now.
Exactly. They're watching Ferris Bueller like, oh, he's toxic. He's
white privilege and
shit. White privilege. He's a narcissist, throwing around all these words like that because he had the world revolved around him Everybody did what he wanted to.
The white male fantasy and all that.
Pretty much all that. He manipulated his friends because everything he manipulated his friends to do was for his benefit. Whether or not it fractured the relationship with their father and like that, it all revolved around him. So yeah, so we look at Ferris Bueller a different way than Gen Z looks at Ferris Bueller.
Yeah,
it's
and that's the thing, that it's out of context. Like even like something like Weird Science or Revenge of the Nerds, and how they were like, womenizing and making and women were objects. I mean, yeah, Weird Science, they make a hot chick.
Right. From a computer.
With a computer. Revenge of the Nerds, they're spying on everybody and shit.
Revenge of the Nerds would not get made at all. It would not have.
Back then, those were movies for the outcasts. Those were movies for the marginalized back then. They were lashing out against, the upper class, the bougie, status quo, the 1%. That's what those movies were for back then. That's what we had, But yeah, I recognize how problematic they are now, but I still watch them because they're like, again, you're.
I mean, they're kind of like burned into our brains right now at this point. Like they're quotables. Like we based our childhood off those movies.
Yeah. I mean, it's a comfort thing.
Okay, let me ask you: Have you seen Ingrid Goes West? You probably seen it. It's a movie that just came out like a couple weeks ago. It had Audrey Plaza and Wanda. What's her real name? Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
The point is, okay, now have you seen Single White Female?
Yeah.
In the 90s. Okay. So here's the thing. So Single White Female and Ingrid Goes West are damn near the same movie. But here's the difference. What if Single White Female was about the crazy chick? From her perspective.
Is Audrey Plaza the crazy chick?
She's the crazy
it's a comedy.
It's a comedy. So it's vice versa. And it makes you think because back then we didn't relate to the outcast or the weird person. We idolized with the Bridget Fondas and the Ferris Buellers, the alpha person, the person everybody wanted to be.
Yeah.
But now we don't idolize with those people.
Yeah, and I look a lot of those John Hughes movies, Weird Science, Ferris Bueller, 16 Can, all them shits, like, or Breakfast Club. It was all about conform. It was all about people trying to get into that status quo. Weird Science, those kids wanted to be popular.
They wanted to be cool, right? And they knew a hot chick would make them cool.
Yeah, be a part of the cool crowd. Same thing with, all those, those movies are just about conformity and wanting to fit in, the need to fit in, and that's why, I can recognize that now, and that's why I tend to revolve towards other shit. As an outcast, as a guy who didn't fit in, there was a few movies like Weird Science that I thought was funny, but I guess I never had the desire to be like them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that was, I just thought it was funny.
So it's just interesting what audiences are into, and whatever entertainment that gets popular or gets hot, reflects that.
Well, even Revenge of the Nerds. At the end of Revenge of the Nerds, is it Gilbert who says, "You know what? I'm a nerd and I'm proud of it." He stands up in front of the whole college and owns his his outcast status.
Right.
And and that's kind of what I got out of it. Yeah, all that shit is problematic. It might have been stupid to laugh at it all them years, but in the end, that movie was about being comfortable with who you are, being yourself.
Let's just hope Gen Z doesn't find out about Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, or Weird Science. Same thing with Weird Science. Yeah, they made this hot ass chick, but she taught them how to be, not assholes, not douchebags. She taught them courage when those mutants show up and with the guns.
Right.
They taught them how to be cool gentlemen and not, douchebag, frat boys. Like they were trying to be like those guys that were trying, like Robert Downey Jr. was one of them douchebags. So yeah, I mean, they look at it out of context, and I think that's the thing that they're missing. Is that's what we had back then. We were outcasts. We were the nerds. We didn't fit in. We weren't the cool kids, and we were watching these marginalized characters face all that, face the same things we were facing. You know?
Right. Because, I mean, teenagers, we all go through the awkward phase. So, of course, you're making movies for teenagers and you make them awkward. Of course, we're going to gravitate to that. So, yeah. So, let's move on past that. Let's just hit something real quick. I just want to see what your thoughts on this.
Okay.
The Baby Yoda show. Baby Yoda's back.
Yeah, Baby Yoda show.
So, like I said, one episode. What did you think about it?
It was fun. It hit all the Star Wars sweet spots. You had action. You had a cool space. That space battle was awesome.
Yeah, the dog fight when he's fighting the pirates. Yeah.
Yeah, when in the asteroids.
Have there ever been pirates in Star Wars before?
Oh yeah, Clone Wars. Those Weequay or whatever they're called. That species. They're always like the criminals in like the Clone Wars.
Okay, so this not the first time they've shown up before.
Yeah,
okay.
I think a few of them were in. I think that they were like a lot of the gangsters that Boba Fett was dealing with on his show were like that same species and shit.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but yeah, you got your old school Western reference with that standoff in the alley with the the pirates between Mando and that shootout.
The Mexican standoff. Yeah.
Yeah. The big giant monster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go ahead.
I was just saying, the Mandalorian continues to be the one thing that all Star Wars fans like.
Yeah.
Like it's the all one thing. Like I've never seen anybody that say they hate Mandalorian if they're a Star Wars fan. Like I said, every other project everybody can't agree on. They'd be like, okay, this is good. People like this, people like that. I've heard some people say Andor is the best thing Star Wars has ever done. Period. Like flat out. Some people say they don't like it.
I've heard people say it sucks and it's boring.
Yeah. So you got people all over the fence with that. Yeah. But on the other hand, the Mandalorian is like it's their go-to. They know everybody's gonna like. It's gonna bring everybody back.
Yeah. I mean, I do think they're like Baby Yoda's getting a little played out, but he still serves his purpose. He made me chuckle a couple of times.
Yeah. I mean, the show can't go on without him. Imagine if he just let him go with Luke Skywalker and season 3 is just the Mandalorian. I don't think the show would work. I don't, me personally.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was a couple of scenes where, that was kind of cute. And there was a couple of scenes where I'm like, oh yeah.
Here we go again.
Yeah. When he was spinning around the chair, I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
When they were going through hyperspace, he saw those space whales. I thought that was pretty cool. Those space whales. They're from like the Clone Wars. I think they were on Rebels and shit. But they're like hyperspace alien whales that can travel the same speed as light. And I believe in like the old canon or whatever, they were used to like map out the galaxy because they were able to travel at light.
Oh, that's Dune. That's some Dune shit right there.
Yeah. Space worms, sandworms,
Yeah.
space whales or whatever. Oh, and then the Zillo Beast. Oh shit, that was the bad. Sorry, I'm watching the Bad Batch at the same time.
See, you get it confused. Like I'm getting this and The Last of Us confused.
Yeah,
they just like one show. It's just like
no, just a little. The Zillo Beast showed up on Bad Batch this week. I thought that was pretty. That was an old monster from the Clone Wars and shit that Palpatine was cloning and shit. It's like a giant Godzilla beast that Palpatine cloned. And so that was pretty cool.
I think the big giant space alligator, I do think that was a lazy design. That's just me. Like it didn't have any kind of pizzazz to it. It was just
sucks that this is the thing about what they've done to the Mandalorian. My one gripe is what they've done to Boba Fett. They've written Boba Fett into the corner. Now they're making up all this shit as they go along. The mythosaur, that tattoo or whatever, that symbol that they're always using, that thing with the tusk, that the old ancient Mandalorians used to hunt, they're extinct now. Even though they still wear the tat, they still wear that emblem. It's all we saw it like the first shot of the show was like that metal shield with that mythosaur skull on on the wall and shit. But they're extinct now because someone wrote that they were extinct. Wouldn't have been cool if that's what they were fighting in this scene. That kid, because they were like making that kid a Mandalorian. He's putting on a helmet. It was like a rite of passage. Hey,
they did trick me out. I thought that was a flashback.
Yeah,
but I think they wanted you to think that. So they got me. They got me. Yeah.
But it would have been cool. Like, hey, now you got to fight a mythosaur. But they're extinct. So we can't fight them. So let's make up another giant alligator.
Oh, and I do think we gotta say one thing about everybody's worried about Gina Carano. Don't worry about it. Cara Dune got a promotion. There you go.
Cara Dune lives.
Cara Dune lives. She's now a space ranger or
She's
some
now
shit, whatever like
fucking
that.
cop.
Exactly. So there you go. So you don't have to feel bad about her. Gina Carano isn't working, but at least Cara Dune is working. Yeah, so yeah. All right. So we said everything we need to say about Mandalorian.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Yeah,
Okay.
fine.
Like I said. All right. Like I said, we actually went longer than I thought we were gonna do. I think we got time.
That's what happens when we never have anything to talk
We
about.
don't have to, now we just aim that we're gonna talk about Cobra behind the scenes, extended edition, you know. All right. So like I said, you listen to this long. This is the Comic Book Bullies. We're talking about the comic books, and we go jump into it. Eli, you have more books than I do, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna let you
right.
jump
Well,
into
let's
it
see.
first.
What shit? Let's see what I got. Well, a lot of horror books. I basically read a bunch of horror this week.
That's weird for March, but yeah.
Okay, well, this started in October, but it's now wrapping up. The last issue, Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead.
DC Horror presents.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is just, World War II zombie shit. The Nazis have found a way to resurrect their dead soldiers. And Sergeant Rock and Company, what are they called? Company C? Company B?
Easy Company? Yeah.
Easy Company go back, get called in to go stop them. And that's what this series has been. They go on the mission. They've been fighting these Nazi zombie soldiers and blowing them up. And it's just campy action. This is the last issue. They finally find Hitler, who's a zombie, and Sergeant Rock beats the shit out of him and blows this place up. And they all live happily ever after. That's basically what happened. And here's a panel of Sergeant Rock beating the shit out of zombie Hitler.
Well, okay.
Yeah. So it's fun and campy and goofy. That's what it was. That's what it was. That's what it was. It remained campy and goofy, and it was fine. And it was written by Bruce Campbell. That was the hook. Bruce Campbell from The Evil Dead. This was his comic. He wrote this. So yeah, it was fun and goofy and campy. So 3 out of 5. It's done. So yeah.
All right. So what book am I going to do next? Well, first book I'm going to do. Yeah, let's do this one. Okay. So first book I'm going to do, and I didn't get a chance to put the thing in there. Okay. So the first book I'm going to do is Action Comics number, I think 1052. I think that's what it is.
Oh, okay. The Super Family.
The Super Family. Yeah. Like I said, the regular book is Superman, but the Action Comics is Super Family. So yeah, family. That's what it's all about. Exactly. And it's so many motherfuckers in here. Some of them even I don't know who they are. Like, who are these people? But they're with Superman. So let's see where it go right here. Okay, so for the last book, what happened was that there's this terrorist group called the Blue Earth coming out there, and Superman is he decided to put all his help steal with his own technology, and basically they're going to be the most dominant technology. They're basically going to put Lex Luthor out of business. They're going to make their own place. And before they're doing that, Metallo is coming to destroy the building because he's been tasked to do that because his sister be a Hill Hospice Lex Luthor. So let's get to it. Boom. Let's go. All right. So it starts off with Superboy, Connor Kent Superboy, because there's like 3 Superboys in this book for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, Metallo just beat the shit out of him, and he's fighting Superman, and you got this awesome splash panel, with Superman versus Metallo. So it's Superman versus Super Metallo. This Metallo is stronger than he's ever been before. And he's actually bragging, like, I heard you stronger than you ever been, Superman. Well, so am I. And like smacks shit out of him, draws blood from him, While he's doing that, then the Steel family, because yes, the Steels are part of the Super family also. So they smack the shit out of him. He grabs his hammer, and I guess Steel and Metallo know each other. So, like I said, I didn't do my homework, but I'm going to go on a limb and say that they're using the New 52 origin, where Steel and Lex Luthor combined to make Metallo. So I guess they're going with that right now. So anyway, he beats shit out of Steel. Steel beats shit out of him some more, and then mess up his face. My beautiful face messed it up. And meanwhile, that happens while he cocks back a Kamehameha or Hadouken to throw at Steel. He gets scooped up by Superman. He's out of there. Now, even though kryptonite still affects him, he freezes breaths him and turns him into ice so the kryptonite can't hurt him. And after that, punches him into space. KO Superman wins. That's it. Meanwhile, the super family goes back and they watch everything on the news on like Lex Luthor's news channel, where they're just bashing Superman and just saying like nobody there. We didn't see it. Metallo there, I'm gonna go back to this mushy shit right here because basically talking about it. They put the kids to bed, they make them brush teeth, and they talk about them and read them a bedtime story, blah blah, stuff like that. Don't care. Go back to Metallo. All right, so Metallo's in space, floating away, and then somebody tells him to wake up, and who tells him to wake up? His sister. Apparently, sister's being held hostage by the bad guys, and he's saying Lex Luthor has me. And like, even though you completed your task of destroying Steelworks, you told him about me. So Lex Luthor changed the plan. He wants you to not only kill Superman, he wants you to kill his whole family. You're like, shit. Okay, well, that's the plan. So now he's got to go back to Earth and finish the plan. Otherwise, Lex Luthor's going to kill his sister. Meanwhile, the super family is talking, and Superman wants to tell himself, like, I want to, and the kids, they're from World, and they're still getting used to living on Earth. As a matter of fact, the girl, she likes to sleep pretending like the bed is her chains, because that's how she slept in World, Meanwhile, Superman is telling the family that I know everybody thinks that Lex Luthor is controlling Metallo, but I checked in with Lex Luthor because, he has like this thing with Lex Luthor right now. I looked into his cell. Lex Luthor is in his cell chilling. He hasn't talked to anybody. So whatever going on right now, Lex Luthor is not behind it.
Oh, so that's like that's going on in this too.
Yeah, that's going on all this. So it's all connected,
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he's like, even though Metallo thinks he's talking to Lex Luthor is not talking back to him. But also the reason he thinks that Metallo is way stronger than what he's been before, because he thinks somebody has stolen War World technology and put it in him to make him stronger than that. So whoever's doing this is not Lex Luthor and is using World War tech and blaming it on Lex Luthor and blaming it on World War tech. So they got to get to the bottom of it. So anyway, Metallo just falls back to Earth like he's Batman, just crashes, and he sees like these terrorists, the Blue Earth terrorists that wants to stop aliens from coming to the planet. And Metallo sees them, beats them up, and takes them back to his hideaway. I guess he can just teleport back to his place. And he teleports there, and what he wants to do with them, he's like, well, if Superman's got a family, I need a family too. And he takes one of the guys, put him on a table, and just starts doing shit to him while he starts screaming. The end. So it looks like, that's some other shit I don't care about. Yeah. So it looks like Metallo is going to make a Metallo family of a bunch of mercenary racist terrorists. So yeah. Okay. Versus Superman family. So everybody's got somebody to fight. So yeah. Overall, good strong book. 4 out of 10. I'm trying to see which one do I like better.
4 out of 10? Is that what you said?
I'm sorry. 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. I'm sorry. They correct.
That book sucks.
I'm trying to see what I like better. Do I like just Superman by himself or Superman and his family? I don't know. It's a good dynamic. It's a good dynamic going on. So yeah.
All right, cool.
All right.
Well, I will move on to Marvel. The only Marvel book I read this week was Ghost Rider number 12.
Awesome.
Benjamin Percy still doing a pretty good job. The
Wolverine thing already happened, right?
Yeah. No, not that crossover. Not yet. But he did show up for a couple issues or one issue a couple months ago. But that big event that's probably going to happen hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
But this is Johnny Blaze has teamed up with this sort of FBI agent who specializes in the paranormal, kind of like the X-Files. And she's like psychic and knows like the occult and, black magic and shit. So they've been going around the country battling evil in all these towns, different monsters in different towns, because Blackheart has been trying to basically influence the world and, bring hell on earth and shit. So he's just going around fighting different monsters and demons in every city. He goes to Savannah, Georgia, which is one of the most haunted towns in America.
It really is.
Yeah, he fights. Yeah. They basically go into the history and shit.
Mm-hmm.
He fights a bunch of demons in a cemetery. He fights this big giant demon that I think he fought before earlier on in the series, and basically beats the shit out of him. Flames them all up. While he's destroying that one demon, he can see in his eyes that he has had the penance stare happen.
The demon had the penis there?
Yeah, and at some point. And when what he sees in his eyes is Danny Ketch's Ghost Rider. So then,
so he's back. Okay.
So we cut to now a couple issues ago. It was revealed that Blackheart's been working with like another FBI, the same FBI agents that Talia chick was working with. The other FBI, the paranormal agents. There was Talia, and then there was that one guy, and then they separated because that one other FBI agent was in cahoots with Blackheart. So he's working for Blackheart, and Talia is running around with Johnny Blaze. So it was revealed a few issues ago that the FBI or whatever government agency has Danny Ketch in some underground top secret bunker, and they're doing some weird shit to control him. So basically Johnny Blaze saw that version of Danny Ketch. You know, this weird version of Danny Ketch's Ghost Rider, but he's in some sort of mechanical contraption that the government is using to control him. So that's kind of where it ends. So they're probably going to face off at some point, and then.
So they still didn't say anything about them being brothers or anything like that?
They are brothers.
They are brothers. I thought that was a retcon. I thought somebody did that.
Yeah. I forgot all about that. Yeah.
That's a retcon. For it wasn't like that at first, but yeah.
Yeah. So Danny Ketch is out there doing some weird shit for the government.
Cool. Danny Ketch, everybody's favorite Ghost Rider. You just don't know it.
Yeah. So 4 out of 5. This is still cool. I've been into this. Still on it.
Cool. All right. So the next book I'm going to do is the final issue of Batman versus Robin.
Oh, okay.
The conclusion. Yeah. I thought it already was done. Apparently they had another.
Is this Damien?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the final issue of that one, even though I thought the last issue was the final issue. But yeah, this is it. So apparently this is after the whole Lazarus. Matter of fact, this is not only the ending of Batman versus Robin, this is the ending of the Lazarus thing too. So it's all done. So let me see where it's at. Can't find it. Damn you. I shouldn't worry about that much about it. Where is it? Look at what it is. Okay, hold on. Let me see. All right, so basically what happened I'm gonna just catch everybody on what happened with the residents or the Lazarus whatever thing. It's done. Apparently the devil Neza has been beaten. They put everything back the way it was. All the toys back in the box. Everybody has their powers back. And the devil Neza's on the run. But however, the devil Neza, and I'll go ahead and show you, the devil Neza has taken over Batman's body. So he's escaped out of his body into Batman's body. So that's where we're going on. So now it's Batman versus Robin, but it's vice versa. At first, Damian was possessed, but now he's regular and Batman is possessed. Let's see what he has to do with that. Oh, in this issue, someone dies. Let's go. All right. So it basically just saying everything I just said right there. King Red Bull or whatever the fuck his name is. Put all the Lazarus juice all over everywhere, and they fixed it. Now everything's back to where it was, and now Batman's captured Damian, and that's it. So we're back up to speed, and they're in the Batcave, and Damian's just telling him like, okay, if you already beaten Batman and I failed to be Batman and you don't need me, why am I still alive? He's like, the reason you're still alive because I need to find my son, King Red Bull or whatever his name is. And Damian's just like, okay, I'll help you find him, just don't hurt my father. You're like, okay, well, hurry up and do it. Yeah, while Damian's looking for the Batcave, the thing is he destroyed the Batcave in the first issue when he was fighting Batman. They fucked the Batcave up. But anyway, he puts on some earplugs and he cranks up the decibels all the way to 150 decibels, which, hurts Batman's or Neville Neza's ears. So he's like, okay, just enough time to get out of here. So he goes for his bike and gets out of here. He's like, I need some time to call some people, get some help or something. And meanwhile, he turns around and he sees the Batmobile chasing him, but it's all flamed up like Ghost Rider because of Devil Neza riding a hell Batmobile, And Robin's like, damn, that's my Batmobile, the one he was gonna give me, And then he's chasing after him and shit like that, chasing after him in a hell Batmobile. shooting rockets at him and shit like that. He's
It
dodging.
looks like the Legion of Doom's lair or whatever.
Oh yeah, they modeled it after something, but I can't remember what they did. But yeah,
Looks like Darth Vader's head like a bunch of times.
That's probably what he stole it from. It's got to be. Yeah. So while Damien is getting chased down by his father, he gets a call from his mother. And his mother's telling him, I just want you to know that the devil Nez's taking over Batman's body. He was like, yes, mother, I know. He was like, but no, you don't understand. If you remove Devil Nez's soul from Batman's body, Batman dies. Because he was pretty much already dead before Devil Nez took over his body because he was mortally wounded. So that's what happened if you remove their spirit. But if you don't remove his spirit, he's going to get stronger. And he's just going to be like this hell demon, whatever like that. And then that's when, boom, the Monkey Prince, who DC has been shoving down our throats for the last year. Yeah.
That's the dude who wrote fucking Shang-Chi.
The same guy. Yeah. So the Monkey Prince is there. He jumps in front of Damien. He's just like, yeah, I've been following the whole time to see what's going on. And he was like, look, why don't you jump on Batman's Batmobile instead of my ride instead of throwing me off? He was like, well, yeah, why don't you just ask? So he takes some hairs from his off of him and he morphs them into himself, like clones of himself. And they attack the Batmobile. Yeah. Okay. And they make the Batmobile crash, stuff like that, and knock it over like that. But Batman just walks out of it like through fire. You know, he's like, this won't stop me. Somebody's going to die tonight. It's going to be either my son or your son or like that. He's just chasing him. And Damien's just like, okay, if you can make clones, why didn't you make clones of like Superman? You're like, well, I could, but they don't have any powers. It's like, well, that's useless, you know. So anyway, they get away and they run away, and he basically telling him what will happen. Like, yeah, if you don't remove Batman's like Devil Nez's soul out of Batman's body, he's going to get stronger up to the point that he was like that before when y'all fought him before like that, where he's just basically this unstoppable guy. So he's just gonna keep getting stronger until you stop him, you know. But if you remove his soul, you kill your father. You're like, do you understand what I'm saying? He was like, well, like one life, 1 billion life, you know, what's to do it. So anyway, what Damien does the same trick he did back in the other Batman versus Robin books, where he called the Bat family and sick the Bat family on him. But instead of like mind controlling them, he just asked them, Batman's crazy, he's a demon, whoop his ass. They're like, okay, they go. And so he goes to like the top of, you know, Commissioner Gordon's police detective, turns on the bat signal. So because he knows the Devil Nez, there's enough Batman in the Devil Nez. When he turns on the bat signal, he's going to just come to the bat signal. So he goes there. He's like, I know, I can smell you, Bat Whelp. I know this is your doing. Review yourself, you know. And that's when Damien's like, now. And then all the Bat family just jumps out of there and they just whoop his ass again. But here's the thing. They've already gotten that ass whoop of Batman before. That's how Batman beat him in Batman versus Robin. But now Batman is powered up by a demon, like the demon. So he just kicks their ass. They try to fight back. Damien's like, fuck this. I'm gonna just shoot. I mean, not Damien. Jason Todd, like, fuck, I'm gonna just shoot his ass. Shoots him. You know, they punch him. They stop. And guess what? None of it matters. Batman just knocks them all off. You know, because he's getting stronger the more he stays in Batman's body. You know, man, the Monkey Prince just like, look, while y'all doing this, I'm gonna go get some magic people and go get Devil Nez's body. That way we can switch the bodies. You know, I'm gonna get like Zatanna and some other people. Oh, and then that's when the Monkey Prince is like, oh, I got another trick. Check this shit out, Damien. So he pulls more hairs off his body, throws him down, and then all of a sudden, now you got shadow clone Damiens, like in Naruto. You know, so you got a bunch of them, and they just all just rush at him at the same time, just start whooping his ass, you know. But even that doesn't work because just like Naruto in the anime, anytime Batman punches one of them, they disappear. You know, they can take one punch. Meanwhile, but they do get some shots in. They break his arm. You know, they punch him in the gut. They dislocate his shoulder. You know, they try to hold him down. But the thing is, since he's still the Devil Neza, he's actually like healing while Damien's doing it and getting stronger. He was like, I gotta hurry him do this shit before he breaks out of my hole. You know. And that's when the magic people show up, Zatanna, Enchantress, that monkey pig person that they always showing, and the Devil Neza's body, you know, they show up. And Zatanna puts him in like some kind of magic chain where she talks backwards and shit like that. And they try to hold him, but even that, he's about to break out of that if they don't hurry up and do this shit. And basically they tell him like, like, you know what'll happen if we do this, right? Batman dies. You're like, look, 1 million, like one life for 1 billion lives. You got to do it because if Devil never gets as strong as he was before, we lost. That's it. So swap bodies. So they do the magic. So Zatanna and the Enchantress do the magic, and they swap bodies. And Batman's soul is, Nez is back in his soul. Meanwhile, Batman is dead. He's out of there. So like shit. They're like, I'm sorry, Damien. I didn't mean to do this. And Damien's like, okay, now do me. Like, wait, what? Yeah, put my soul into Batman's body. That was the plan the whole time. Because the world needs Batman more than me. That's what he's saying. So he's willing to sacrifice himself to save his father. And meanwhile, they're saying that, I'm sorry, Damien, Batman is so fucked up, your soul is not enough to revive him. They're like, wait, but that was my plan. I planned this whole time. Like, yeah, it's not going to work. He like, and that's when Enchantress like, but if we had one of the bad people here, 2 of y'all could bring him back. But since they knocked out, I tell you what, I'll let you pick which one I kill. They're like, no, we're not going to do that. They're like, but then Damien comes up with another plan. Okay, so my soul isn't enough, and one of the Bat Family soul is enough. But when we take a little piece of soul from a few people and combine it to give it to Batman, he was like, yeah, we could do that, but you know how many souls we have to do that? We need like thousands of souls to do that. He was like, well, I got the plan. So that's when he go to Oracle, and basically Oracle hacks into everybody's cell phone, TV, everybody in Gotham City.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically tells everybody, look, you don't know Batman, some of you don't believe Batman existed, but Batman has saved your life. Batman is the reason I'm here. I owe him my life. Batman has never asked you for anything ever, but he is at death's door right now, and the only thing that can save him is the people of Gotham.
A little piece of your heart.
Exactly. They just lift your soul. Basically, like you got your soul, your spirit, your light, your the force, whatever you want to call it. We need a piece of that. If a piece of it that you won't miss, all of you like lift your hands in the air and give your power to Batman, you'll bring Batman back to life. Exactly. So they like, yeah, we could do that. So everybody like lift their hands in the air, and they give up a little piece of their spirit. So like the spirit of Gotham. And everybody like, we are Batman. We are Batman. Everybody says it at the same time. And while they're saying that, a lightning bolt strikes from the ground and hits Batman. And of course, Batman wakes up. So Batman was resurrected by the spirit of Gotham. That's some deep shit right there. I kind of like that,
That's cute.
Yeah, so Batman wakes up.
He said, Damon, you little shit.
Anyway, he calls for Damien, wonder what Damien is. He's like, I'm here, Father, you're safe. And they hug it out. So, yeah. So father and son. Yeah. So everybody calls him a little shit, but he really always about to sacrifice himself to save his father. I thought that was some pretty deep shit. So basically the aftermath of everything that happened, there is no more Lazarus juice pits, nothing on the planet anymore. It's all gone. It's all used up. So you can't bring anybody back for that.
Well, what we need is a good crisis.
Exactly. Just bring all this shit back. And that's when Damien says, like, the devil Nezer thought he could take us, but he underestimated the power of Batman and Robin because nobody can beat them when they're together. The end. That's it. So, yes. Batman.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I kind of like that. That was a good ending to this story. The funny thing is that's wrap up to that whole Lazarus Planet shit that we didn't read. It's over.
Yeah. Okay,
it's done. So we don't need to know anything about it.
Well, there you go. That worked out.
Yeah, that worked out. It worked out just fine. So yeah. All right. So yeah. So what you got next?
All right. I got this. Where Monsters Lie.
Okay.
This is that horror book is it Image or Dark Horse? I forget. I totally forgot who it is. But it's that town of slashers. So there's this like gated community that houses slasher villains. And they stay there while they're not on one of their murder rampages. They chill out, they prepare for their next killing spree. One of the rules about that town is you're not supposed to kill anybody while they're staying in that neighborhood because they don't want to draw the fuzz. They don't want to, the cops coming. But one of the slasher villains ends up going on a killing spree and kidnaps a bunch of kids and kills them all. But one kid escapes, runs out and goes right to the cops, takes the cops to this neighborhood. And that's kind of where this issue starts. The cops have shown up to the killer's neighborhood, and they're all like, "Oh shit, the cops are here. What do we got to do?" I said, "Well, we better go kill all these cops now." Well, it turns out one of the cops, the guy leading this squad, he's part of the special unit, and it turns out that he's a survivor of one of the killer's killing sprees. He was at some amusement park where a slasher villain killed a bunch of people, killed hid parents, and he hid out in a fun house or whatever. And he was like instead of the final girl, he was the final boy, I guess. And then he grew up to be, to get revenge. So he became a cop. He trained in all these martial arts. He knows all these different, criminology and, all these military tactics, and he knows all this paranormal, research and shit. So he's prepared all his life to finally find the slasher villain and take his revenge. And this slasher villain is staying in this neighborhood. So he shows up, and they're investigating. But while the cops are going around the neighborhood, knocking on all the killers' houses, they're getting killed. All the different slashers are taking out these cops. Here's this panel, or here's a page of this clown slasher that uses a flamethrower and burns a bunch of cops alive and shit.
Damn. They really go there. Okay.
Yeah. And then the kid, they actually brought the kid back there, like, hey, you got to show us where this neighborhood is. So now the kid's running around, trying to survive this, the slashers that are taking out the cops and shit. So it's pretty cool. It is the writing, it gets a little cheesy, but I think that's what they're going for. They're going for stupid, campy fun. Kind of a, it's if you're into slasher movies like Jason, Freddy, Chucky, Scream, or any of that shit, this is right up your alley. It's just a fun, goofy horror book. I think I'm gonna stick with it. So okay. I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
No problem. Yeah. Well, I'm booked out, so if you got another one, you can.
Do I want to do this? This was just I've read another book. Fuck it. What time we got? Oh, I could go 10 minutes on this, maybe. Not even.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah. I'll do this Misfits book. This is just
okay. Now, is this an old book or a new book? I couldn't find it.
Okay, this is this is Brad. This is basically what are they called? What's this company called? Tidal Wave Productions.
Okay.
So this is just basically a biography on the band The Misfits.
Oh, okay.
The Misfits, they're a hardcore punk band, one of my all-time favorites, probably top 5 of my all-time favorite bands. Featuring Glenn Danzig on vocals. Danzig has gone on to be a kind of a big metal dude. His songs have been featured in movies. He's done he's a huge horror geek. He's a huge comic book fan. He does, he did that Veronica comic series. He's been doing shitty horror movies now too. But his first band that he was ever in was the Misfits. He kind of started it with Jerry Only. Now, Jerry Only was the bass player, and this book is pretty much told from his perspective. And just kind of goes through his point of view, and the friction that he had with they've always had a kind of volatile relationship. Danzig kind of kept the name and made money off them throughout the 80s and 90s, kind of kept the name and made money off the name. And but there was a court battle where the bass player Jerry Only was finally awarded back the name, and he was able to reform the band and took them on tour. And that's when I finally saw them, and they've kind of gone through lineup changes and stuff like that. So it just goes, he kind of gives his side of the story. And you can tell he's salty about a few things. They have him and Danzig have never really gotten along very, very well. And he kind of touches up on that shit, but they have in recent years, kind of like the original lineup, they've been doing tour dates. I have still not seen them in the original lineup yet, but they've been doing that for the past few years, obviously making money. Of course, punk rock elitists are like they sold out. But hey, you want to make money, make money. It's okay. I mean, I kind of already knew the story. I was hoping that it was going to be like they were superheroes or a horror book or something.
Because like Kiss in the 70s with Marvel.
Yeah, like the Kiss comics and shit. That's kind of like hoping. There was a Doyle comic. So Doyle is Jerry Only's brother, and he's the guitarist. And years ago, there was a comic featuring Doyle as a comic, like this super monster fighter fighting zombies in this like hellish wasteland, and it was pretty fucking cool. And that's what I was kind of hoping this was going to be. But this is basically the history of the band that I kind of already knew about and shit. So, I thought it was all right, and just hearing Jerry Only's side of it, which, again, I already knew about this. I already know the volatile relationship between, these guys. So I thought it was just kind of, redundant, I thought.
Okay, let me ask you, has there ever been a movie about the Misfits?
No.
Okay, so you're reading a screenplay right now.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
From one side of the story.
Right. That's what's gonna happen. So yeah.
But they touch upon how Metallica made them blow up, because Metallica was fans in the 80s, and that's kind of where we started hearing about them, because they broke up in like 81, 82 or something. They were, they formed in like 77. They released a handful of records, and then broke up like a few years later. So they never really made that much of an impact until Metallica, and a bunch of thrash bands were fans, like grew up listening to them, and they were wearing their shirts, and it was Metallica covering Last Caress in Green Hell. And that's where I first heard of the Misfits, and I first heard of Metallica. I was 13 years old. I bought the Garage Days EP that Metallica released because it was only $5. I never heard Metallica before. I was in the metal at the time. I was listening to Iron Maiden and, Ozzy and all that shit, Twisted Sister. But I wasn't into like, really, this is the first time I heard like thrash, So it was Metallica's cover of Green Hell, the Misfits song, where I first heard like speed and thrash. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I was like, they cannot possibly be playing this. Like, no human can play this heavy. And I thought it was hilarious. And I remember just taking that tape, the cassette tape of Metallica's Garage Days, and that's the only song that I kept playing was Metallica's cover of the Misfits, Green Hell. And I was showing all my friends, like, you guys got to hear this shit. And I just kept playing that. It's only like a minute long, but it's just like, it's the first time I heard anything about that. And I thought it was so funny. Then I just became obsessed with that. Like the aggression, it was just so... There's something about it that just like it's just like that fast, aggressive style of music that's when I started getting into thrash. I started buying more Metallica, buying more Slayer, and then I became a big thrash. Now my gamer tag is Thrash Jaws. But that was my first taste of music that fast and aggressive, was Metallica's cover of the Misfits' Green Hell. So yeah.
That's all started. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought this was going to be more of a horror, because all they do is sing about horror movies, like old 50s and like Universal horror, campy horror movies, campy B sci-fi horror movies. That's been like most of what their songs have been about.
Didn't they do that Wednesday song?
No, that's the Cramps.
Okay, I got it.
Cramps.
Okay.
They're more of a rockabilly, old school rockabilly kind of style. And Misfits were more rock and rolly, like the Ramones. Ramones were kind of rock and rolly, very hard rock and roll. And the Misfits were kind of that's the type of style. But the Cramps were more like rockabilly, like, kind of the edge of country western, and, Chuck Berry type of shit.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah. So this is just a 3 out of 5. I was hoping this was going to be more of a horror book, but it's just a biography about a story that I already know about. So,
interesting. Okay. Like I said, I'm booked out. Yeah, I'm booked out also. Like I said, we didn't have a show, but we made a show out of nothing. So that's what we always do. Like I said, when we unfocus, we get a whole bunch of stuff we don't know about. So yeah, like I said, if you listen this long, definitely like, share, subscribe. Appreciate anybody listening this long. Appreciate anybody that listens to this later on in the recording and listens up to this point. We appreciate that. Also put all the stuff out. See what you think about that. Next week we will come with something else. I don't know. Probably some other bullshit happens, but something will happen. We don't know.
Yeah.
Something always does. Until then, it's
Shazam.
Leroy.
Ain't Shazam coming out?
No, that's later on.
Or Scream. Are you gonna go see Scream?
Probably not. I'll let you have that.
I don't know. I might see it. I don't know.
At this point, I'm like,
remember, I watched last year because it was still kind of sort of the pandemic.
Well, it was
so
on TV at the time.
Yeah, and I was like,
so we
okay,
didn't go
I'll
anywhere.
check it out because there was nothing else to do.
I feel like with Scream, they said all they have to say. I don't know what else can you do. I don't know. They just
and Nev Campbell ain't in this one,
right? They want to pay her the money or something like that.
Yeah,
so. Plus, they got the new people. They got Jenna Ortega.
Wednesday. Wednesday's in.
Yeah, Wednesday. So so they got the Scream the New Blood or New Batch or whatever you want to call it. So yeah. So I'm not saying it. Yeah, but I will see Cobra.
Oh, I might watch that too. You know what? I'm gonna watch it too, man.
There you go. And you should watch Cobra also. Yes. Whoever listened to this,
classic.
A classic,
it's a cinematic masterpiece.
Real cinema. Yeah. So until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time, same bullet